Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. Happy to have you. If you haven't already considered it, I would try and consider subscribing and clicking on that notification so that you can get notification when I upload my videos, so that way you can get to know me, you can be a part of the family and have some fun with us. In today's video, obviously it's going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. I'm normally either doing some sort of testing on my practice hand, or I'm doing a actual tutorial or a mini review on some products that I've purchased. On today's video, I have decided to compile a list of must-have for nail technicians, nail beginners, on a budget. And we're working on a budget of under $300. And I know that $300 sounds like a lot, but when you begin to invest on yourself as a beginner nail tech, you're definitely going to spend more than $300 buying things separately. In today's video, I'm attempting to find bundles that are budget friendly for you to stay under $300 that you need as a beginner. It's not a full investment on everything that you need, but this is just to get you started. Now, having said that, today's list of items are more geared toward acrylic application. I'm not too experienced on polygel or hard gel, so I can't recommend something I'm not familiar with. However, if you are interested in a beginner-friendly, budget-friendly list of must-haves for acrylic application, that I would invite you to continue watching. The first item on my list of must-have for beginner, budget-friendly techs is obviously a practice hand. When I started practicing how to do my own nails, I knew that I was not going to be able to practice on myself as often as I would like in order for me to get the application down. So I decided after a while to invest on a practice hand, but I didn't want to spend too much money not knowing if I was going to actually retain the application process and learn. I'm still learning. I've gotten tons better, but I still continue to practice, and I know that I can't practice on myself weekly, every other day, or when I have an idea in my head that I just want to put out. I can't do it on myself as often as I would like, because I know that I will somehow aggravate my nail bed, and you can't do too much to your nail bed. It just isn't healthy for the nail bed. So the best investment I would suggest is a practice hand. Now, this particular practice hand, I have one very similar. I didn't buy it through this particular seller, but I have the same practice hand, and I've had it since April of 2021. It is now December, so it's lasted me 8 months. And yes, there are some cons to this hand, but there's definitely some pros. It's definitely lasted me and helped me on my acrylic application. So I definitely would suggest a practice hand like this to begin with. And this particular hand brings 3 nail files, 3 buffers. It has a box of nail tips and a nail tip cutter. And the best part is that it brings additional nails bed, so that way you can switch out your nails and continue practicing. So I would suggest, if you don't have a family member or a friend who is willing to or have the time to allow you to practice on them, that this would be the best way to get started. Now, I would not suggest investing on a silicone hand when you're just starting, and I'm talking about just starting, where you haven't gotten your application down just yet, where you haven't learned the process just yet. To invest on a silicone hand and not know how to take care of it would be a waste of money. So this is the best solution for me, in my opinion, where you can get started on practicing, and once you get the application down, then I would suggest investing on a silicone hand, a posable silicone hand, or just a regular silicone hand that is not posable, and then going or upgrading from there. But as a beginner, not knowing what you're doing, and you might make mistakes and maybe ruin your hand, this is to me the cheapest way to go. And the best part about this is that they give you different options at the bottom. I've selected what I feel is the best offer because of the number of files and buffers it provides you, and all at a good price of $28.98. So to me, it gives you all the items that you need to get yourself started. There's a couple things that obviously you're going to need, which I will provide on the list, that is not included in this particular item. However, to me, this is all the items that you need as part of that application. Item number 2 on my list of must-haves is obviously glue, and this is one of the items that I did say on the first item that is not included in the bundle. I wish that they would, but I guess it's really more a preference, a personal preference when it comes to these types of items. It is the KDS nail glue. It is very popular in the nail community. I've seen it on a lot of tutorials that I've seen on YouTube, or even as part of a list such as the one I'm making today, a list of must-have for beginners. It's very, very popular. I personally don't use a tube form. I like to brush it on, so I have the Mia Secret nail brush glue, which is $1 more than this one. The difference between the two is that the Mia Secret only brings one nail glue, which has lasted me for quite a few months, because you only need about a drop to glue your tips. This particular items bring 5 pieces for $5.99, so they're a little bit above $1 each. But the great part is that you have 5 in the bundle, and like I said, you only need about a drop of glue to glue your tips to your practice hand. You don't need a lot of that. So I think this is a great bundle to get started on your application. Obviously, if you want to do longer nails, you obviously need to glue tips on unless you decide to use forms. But as a beginner, if you haven't gotten down your application just yet, I would assume that trying to do nail forms would be a lot harder than doing a nail tip, because there's already a tip form for you. You just have to apply the acrylic over the tip rather than having to shape the acrylic. But to each his own. But this is item number 2 on my list of must-have at a budget, is 5 pieces of KDS nail glue tips for $5.99. And item number 3 is obviously an acrylic system. In order for you to be able to apply acrylic, you need the actual acrylic itself and the components to be able to apply an acrylic. This particular bundle obviously is from Mia Secret, and it brings a 4-ounce liquid monomer, which is something obviously you're going to need. It brings 4 2-ounce acrylic jars. They give you the clear, they give you the 3D white, they give you the multi-balance pink, which is a very clear pink, very, very mute. And obviously it also gives you the pink, the regular pink. It's like a cover color, which this is a great beginner friendly acrylic system, because I personally have paid a lot more for just a 2-ounce jar of acrylic. I'm not going to say it wasn't worth paying a $19 to $20 for that just 1 2-ounce jar, because it's a very respectable brand and it's a very good quality powder. However, as a beginner, I would not suggest to be spending $20 for a 2-ounce acrylic jar when you're just practicing. At least with this particular item, you're getting 4 2-ounce acrylic jars, 4 different types that you can practice with. This is good for your ombre practice, for your French 3D practice. So this to me is the best bargain to get as a beginner, because you're not trying to spend a lot of money on items that you're not sure if you're going to obtain the application process for the acrylic. Then you would just be wasting your money and wasting a lot of time. But if you really want to get practice, I would not invest on more expensive items, only because, like I said, you're just practicing. So it's not like someone's going to wear these for a very long time. So as a practice, I would suggest this particular item, and you're going to need the monomer, you're going to need the acrylic to start. Once you've learned your acrylic application, then I would go ahead and start researching and investing on higher quality brands, so that way you're not wasting the items you're investing in. So to me, this is the best bargain. It's only $48.95, and like I said, you're getting 4 2-ounce jars and a 4-ounce liquid monomer to start. This is a great acrylic system to start with. Once you get the basics of the acrylic application, then I would go ahead and consider on maybe purchasing other colors, pigmented acrylics, so that way you can practice with those. But just as a beginner, this is the best item that I can suggest, so that way you're not wasting your money. The fourth item on my list of must-have for beginner friendly is obviously a Dappen Dish. Now, sometimes these can be a little bit hard to find the right size, the right one to kind of help you with your acrylic process. But I personally own this Dappen Dish, and I can tell you that it's definitely true to size. I've purchased, when I started purchasing items for me to practice, I thought I was getting the Dappen Dish of all Dappen Dishes when I started. And when I received my items, they were tiny. I mean, very, very small. And it's kind of deceiving I wouldn't say deceiving, because I'm sure in the description section it tells you the true size. They just don't give it to you in picture form, so that you can at least quickly look through these items and say, okay, that's the right Dappen Dish. But this particular Dappen Dish is true to size, and I'm going to show you. It is just over 2 inches, and the great part is that it comes with a lid. And this is good for when you're a beginner and just practicing on your practice hand. And I'm talking about your practice hand, not yourself, not a friend, not a family member. It's great for when you're practicing on your practice hand. The lid comes in handy to preserve the unused monomer that you may have remaining, as long as it's clean. You can save that for the next time that you practice. Obviously, if you're practicing on a real hand, I would not suggest reusing unused monomer. It's just not sanitary, especially if it's not clean and may be contaminated. On a practice hand, it's not going to damage it, but on a real hand, you may be cross-contaminating. So to me, like I said, the lid comes in handy when you're just using the leftover monomer on your practice hand. This lid comes in handy. It is perfect. I actually use this to clean my acrylic brushes. I put my acrylic brush cleaner in there, and my unused liquid for cleaning my brushes. I use the lid to preserve that for the next time I clean my brushes. And I try to use my brushes, or try to practice as often as I can, so I'm constantly cleaning my brushes. That's just a habit I formed in constantly cleaning them. So this Dappen Dish comes handy for that. I don't use it for monomer. I had initially bought it and started using it for monomer, but I went up a little larger in size. But as a beginner, this is perfect. So this particular Dappen Dish is just for one piece $6.99. So I say that's a bargain. And like I said, this particular one, this one is true to size. I can't speak for other Dappen Dishes aside from the ones I personally purchased that are not true to size. But this is the only Dappen Dish that I've been able to find on Amazon that is true to size, and is the one that I would recommend only because of the size and obviously the price. And obviously you're going to need it for your monomer in order for you to apply your acrylics. So this is the next item on my list. It comes highly recommended by me. If there are other Dappen Dishes out there that are similar to this one, maybe even cheaper, that our beginners out here can buy, please comment down below and help everyone else out, so that way they can make the best investment in themselves. The next item on my list, stating the obvious, is a acrylic brush. This particular one is by the brand Pana USA. It is a very affordable, very high quality, in my opinion, high quality acrylic brush. Is a 100% pure Kolinsky hair brush, which is highly recommended across the board. The nail industry, I can't tell you that purchasing and investing on a good nail acrylic brush is going to save you money in the long run, as long as you know how to take care of it. Is going to last you a very long time. This particular size is a number 8. Obviously, they come in different sizes by saying that, and I'm sure everyone's aware of that. This is a number 8. The higher you go, the more hair, the bigger the brush, the more higher in price. This particular number, size 8, is at $25.99. Great for beginners. Anything, at least for beginners, to me, in my opinion, anything between the size 8 to a size 12 and maybe pushing it a size 14 is great for beginners. I started with a number 8, and now I've worked my way up to a 16, and I'm also now learning how to use an 18, and I've purchased a 20. The higher you go, I guess is, to me, in my opinion, better for the size nails that you're trying to practice on. If it's shorter, to me, the lower the size, the better. If it's longer, the higher the size, the better, because more monomer, more acrylic, you can pick up more monomer, more acrylic to be able to apply at the full length of the nail. This particular brand is very affordable and is very popular for beginners. The great part about this brush is that it already comes crimped, and a crimped brush is just better for your acrylic application versus an oval brush that hasn't been crimped. The great part about Pana also is that it gives you 3 handles you can pick from. This is the mahogany. They also come in clear, and they also come in teal. And they're all a size number 8, and they're all $25.99. So you have at least 3 choices, at least in what I found, 3 choices of colors for your handle, and they all come crimped. So that is the best part of this particular item that I'm suggesting. Obviously, if you go for a higher brush, let's say you want to start with a number 10, it is going to cost you a little bit more. It's $31.99. If you think that you can go higher in number to start, a size 12 will be $37.99. And once again, they come in 3 different handles, and they all come crimped. So the higher the number, the bigger the brush, the higher the price. But for me, I would suggest for a beginner a size 8 or a size 10. For the sake of this particular video, I am sticking to a size 8 because I am sticking to a budget-friendly suggestion, and you are a beginner. So a size 8 at $25.99 for a 100% pure Kolinsky hair nail brush. To me, is a great bargain. And being able to decide at the type of handle that you want, and you don't have to ruin your brush trying to crimp it yourself. You don't have to go to a beauty supply store and get it crimped. This already comes crimped for you, so it saves you time and energy on that, and is only $25.99. Great bargain for beginners, and this is my next suggestion as a list of must-haves. The next item on my list is a prepping system. Either is this particular brand or any other brand. I cannot highly recommend enough to invest on a good prep system, because it helps with the longevity and the lasting power of your acrylic application. Obviously, it's more than just these 2 items that you're going to need for prep, but for a budget-friendly suggestion, or if you're practicing on yourself, a friend or a family member, this is definitely something you're going to need in order for you to practice and make sure that that acrylic adheres to the nail and lasts a little longer to prevent the lifting. Obviously, there's other items like a cuticle pusher, other EFAL drill bits that help with the prep. But the most important one to me, aside from pushing the cuticle back, is the dehydrator and the primer that helps the product adhere to the nail. Like I said, either is this brand or another brand. It's something that I highly recommend. This particular bundle obviously is from Mia's Secret. Mia's Secret to me is a brand that's very beginner friendly. It is affordable for someone who's just starting. Not something that I would recommend long run. I mean, I personally use this brand. I find it to be beginner friendly. I actually have quite a few favorite acrylic products by Mia's Secret, but I mean, it doesn't have to be this brand, but this is just on my list of suggestions that I thought was great as a bundle and budget friendly. It gives you your dehydrator and your primer just for $12.45. This is to me a very good bargain, because if you try to find these items separately, they're going to cost you a little bit more than this. And Mia's Secret, again, is a very affordable brand. I wouldn't go and buy something very cheap and unrecommended by people who have a little bit of experience or more high experience on these types of items, because you just don't know what you're getting yourself into unless you do your own research. And I'm talking about the chemicals in these items. Mia's Secret, like I said, is very popular with beginners. I use it. Haven't had any problems with this brand, but like I said, it doesn't have to be this brand. But I would suggest a prep system. The dehydrator, what it does is just remove the natural oils in your nail bed, so that way when you go in with your application, that oil doesn't prevent the acrylic from adhering. So that's what the dehydrator is for. And the primer, which is the extra bond, kind of acts like a glue to adhere the acrylic to the nail. So this system is highly recommended by me before you go in with your acrylic application. It works. I remember when I started practicing on myself, I noticed a difference between before I came across these items versus when I came across them and started using them. I had a lot of lifting before, and when I started using these types of prep systems, I practically have no lifting now. So I'm very happy that I found out about prepping before your application, and I cannot say this enough. It's a bargain for $12.45 to have both items, and they're pretty decent size for beginners. So this is my next item of must-haves for beginners. The next item on my list doesn't look like very much, but I highly recommend if you are at the very beginning stage of learning how to use acrylic and you haven't invested on everything as of yet, and you are at a very tight budget and you cannot afford to get a nail desk. If you already have a vanity or maybe a fold table or a counter space or a tabletop that you are temporarily using to practice, this item is going to help protect your workspace. It is the largest silicone mat that I was able to find for the price and the quantity. So it brings a pack of 3 large silicone sheets to practice, and the size is 15.7 inches by 11.7 inches. Very large for the area that you're going to be working on. And the reason I added this as a suggestion is, number one, the obvious, is to protect your workspace. But more importantly is that as a beginner and you're working on a very tight budget, I'm not going to suggest investing on a nail desk if you're not sure you're going to be able to learn the application and make this a career choice. So my suggestion is to first invest on something this budget friendly, and once you've learned your application, you've gotten it down to where you think you can go to the next level, then saving your money and going to the next level in your budget, which is investing on a nail desk. So if you are at the very beginning stages and you want to continue to practice but cannot afford a nail desk, this is the best solution for you at the present time. This silicone mat is gonna protect your kitchen table, your counter, your fold out table, or if you have an actual desk where you do homework, or like an office, tiny office space, that'll protect your desk or protect the vanity. I know I started using it or practicing on my vanity. I had a very small vanity at the time, and I ruined my vanity that I had to upgrade my vanity in order for me to have a nice clean vanity. I didn't think about these things until I started practicing. So by past experience, this is my suggestion, that if you already have a tiny vanity, if you already have a desk or just a countertop that you don't want to ruin, like a kitchen table, then my suggestion is to get the silicone mat. Once again, is 3 of them, and they come in a lot of different colors. So if you have a favorite, you're able to pick those colors that you want, and all at a price of $9.99, guys. And it gives you 3 large silicone mats. And silicone, to me, is best to protect your items because it's easy to clean, and if it gets damaged, at least you have 2 other ones as backups, because once you ruin your table, it's not going to be just that simple to buy another table, if that makes sense. So to me, is even if you already have, let's say, a nail desk, because you have that higher budget, at least protect your nail desk by purchasing something similar to this. And if anybody else out there knows something similar or better at an equal or lower price, or maybe a couple of dollars up, that may be bigger or better for the friendly beginner budget, comment down below and help the rest of us out to be able to invest in ourselves and make our application better. Please go ahead and comment that information down below. But for me, this was the biggest that I can find, the most affordable I can find for the quantity and for the beginner stage for a nail tech. The next item on my list, and hear me out, guys, hear me out. You're gonna look at the screen and you're gonna see the price of $102, and you're gonna think, wow, how is this budget friendly? Well, looking at the item right out, you can see that it's multifunctional. There's a lot of functions to this one particular item, that if you buy each one individually, it's going to cost you more than $100. I know personally, because this is a dust collector. My dust collector was $70, and that's just $30 shy away from this dust collector, which is multifunctional. And when my e-file cost me over $50. So if I add the 50 and the 70, that's $120 just for 2 items. And as a beginner, you don't want to spend too much not knowing if you're going to learn how to use these items or learn the application process, or actually pursue it once you find out that it's something that's not for you, that you decided, even though you started practicing, that it's just not the career choice for you. You didn't want to invest on expensive items to only have to not succeed in the field that you first were excited about. So to me, this item I'm very excited about, because I wish I knew then when I started, and I'm talking about years ago, if this item was available then, I would have definitely purchased it for this price, only because look at this item, guys. It is a dust collector, and as you can see in the picture above it, it is a UV LED lamp. When you buy these 2 items alone separately, it's going to cost you more than $100. So let me tell you what the multifunctional purpose of this is. It is a dust collector, it is a UV LED lamp, and it is an armrest. If you see that pink cushion on the top, it is an armrest. Okay, so you have 3 in 1 already. If you look at this part of the item, it is also an illuminator, so it also acts as a desk lamp. It brings, guys, a USB port to 2 USB ports for charging. So if you are starting and you want to record your technique and see how you are doing, you are able to do that. You can attach your phone on there and record, or your camera, or so forth. And guys, look, it has an e-file. It has an e-file. Okay, an e-file. An e-file alone, like I said, mine cost over $50. I'm sure there are higher priced e-files, but e-files, if you don't know how to use it, can be very dangerous. So the perfect thing about this item is that it's inexpensive, and it's there if you are prepared to use it, and you can use it on your practice hand. That way it's not a danger to the person you're practicing on. You can use the e-file on your practice hand, and when you're ready to use it, it is an option in this multifunctional machine. So you have a dust collector, you have an armrest, you have a UV LED lamp, you have an e-file, and you have a desk lamp. I can definitely tell you that on my investments alone, my previous desk lamp was about $38 because it had a ring light and it had the option of mounting a phone or a camera, and it broke on me. I had to replace it. If you haven't seen my previous videos on my small Amazon nail haul / unboxing, I purchased a new desk lamp because my previous one broke. So as a beginner, you don't want to spend so much money not knowing that this is what you truly want to do as a career. This to me is a perfect item for a beginner. At $102 for all of these items, you are not going to find it anywhere else. I'm sure that on Amazon, as you can see, they also give you options at the bottom to maybe find other similar items, but not all of them are going to come with every single one with the same functions. Like some of them will only have that lamp and the e-file, or not even a lamp. Some of them will bring an e-file and just a dust collector, not the UV LED lamp. So to me, this is a perfect item for a beginner who is going to need all these items anyway. And like I said, if you're not ready to use that e-file, you can just remove it off the dust collector and use your hand file, but it is there when you're ready to use it. I can't beat this price for all of the things that you're getting, for all the functions. And I wish I knew about this before I started investing on myself, because I've already gone through 2 e-files and now I'm on my second desk lamp. So to me, this is the best bargain. And guys, this particular item, at least when it comes to the e-file, it brings at least your basic your basic drill bits for you to get started. It only brings 6 sanding bands, but at least it brings you the other drill bits that you're going to need to perform service. And I know that a lot of them is used to remove either gel polish or removing the shine off the nails. Some are actually used for the cuticle area, so it's good for manicures. So I know that instead of purchasing a cuticle pusher, you can also use these, as long as you've learned how to use them. Otherwise, if you're not comfortable using these bits for the cuticle area, I would suggest a cuticle pusher. It's not on my list of must-have, even though it is important, but that's something that you're going to have to think about if you want to add to this to the list. I'm just thinking about the more bigger items that you're going to need for an actual practice, and that it's budget friendly, and it's multitasking, and it's a bundle for the price. So that's what I'm doing in this list. But once again, if you are comfortable using it, I would suggest using it on yourself, just to make sure that you know you're doing it correctly and gently, so that when you're doing it on someone else, it isn't as difficult and you are comfortable doing it. But if you're not, the e-file is just there for if you want to use it or not. But it does come, I just wanted to point out that it does come with those drill bits for you to get started. Guys, my next item on the list, it may not seem like very much, but after practicing for a long time on a person, I'm talking about a live person, yourself, a friend, or a family member, you've dehydrated their cuticle area and their fingertips extremely dehydrated them. So something as simple as a cuticle oil can revitalize and give it some moisture after you've completed your application and are fully done with the service. You can rehydrate them with something as simple as a cuticle oil. Nothing special. I mean, you can find any cuticle oil out there. It doesn't have to be the specific one. This is just a suggestion. I've personally bought this brand. I actually have it. I think that for the size of the cuticle oil, the price is unbeatable. It is $12 for a 2.5 fluid ounce. And it is very, very large. I mean, this is going to last you a very long time. And it gives you different types of scents. This is obviously a vanilla bean, but it gives you different scents that you can choose from. This is citrus and wild berry. You have lavender and chamomile. You have mango and bergamot. I'm not trying to pronounce that, but just the point that there are different. I actually have the milk and honey, but that there are different scents to the cuticle oil that you can purchase, all at $12. And like I said, the size for the price is unbeatable, and it is very moisturizing. I'm sure that there are other cuticle oils out there that other people can comment down below and suggest for either the same price or a lower price. Go ahead and please comment that down below. But as far as my budget friendly, this is my suggestion at $12 for a 2.5 fluid ounce cuticle oil, which will come in handy for after you've dehydrated someone so much at the cuticle area. So this is my next suggestion at $12. And last and certainly not least, this American Nails acrylic nail training mat. I've personally purchased this, and it is so useful. These are the types of training, I'm not even sure how to describe it, because I found the silicone form of it, but I know that in a lot of beauty schools they give you the paper form of this practice sheet, so you end up having to throw it away, whereas this particular form is a silicone material, and you can actually reuse this numerous times before you would ever have to replace it. And what's so amazing about this training mat, guys, is that it has your liquid to powder ratio. It gives you direction by direction on how to dip your brush, how to get the right amount of beads. In this section here, it says to brush on the edge of the dish, your Dappen dish. And for a large bead, you're going to wipe just the tip of your brush. For a medium bead, you will wipe from the middle to the tip of your brush. And for a small bead, you're going to wipe from the ferrule of the brush to the tip of the brush. And those are the three sizes, is your small, medium, and large bead. And it is amazing because it tells you step by step on how to do the application, and you get to practice at the top of the sheet your small, medium, and large. Another great part about it is that it also shows you the 4-bead method on this section, where you see the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, and the 4 for the apex, building the apex. It is an amazing training mat. It teaches you the different shapes that are popular right now. And as a bonus to me, as a beginner, it gives you this little 12-step prep and sculpt, reminding you of the steps that you need to do as you are practicing until you can memorize it and have it down packed. It gives you that reminder: wash your hands, remove polish, push and clean cuticle, edge and dust, dehydrate nail bed, and so forth. I cannot tell you how highly I recommend this particular item. If you buy nothing on this list, this is the item as a beginner that I suggest you invest if you're still struggling with your liquid to powder ratio. And the best part about this item, the link that I'm going to be providing you also provides you with a video where you can watch and see how they use the mat. 15 minutes, but I will tell you, I've seen the video myself personally, and I feel like it's worth the 15 minutes because it's very educational. So the price of this mat obviously is $19.99, is $20 if we round it off. It's $20. Seems like a lot for a mat, but it's reusable. You're not throwing it away, and it's gonna teach you about your application, which is the reason why you are practicing to begin with. Great place to practice until you can actually do it on a nail. So to me, this comes highly recommended. Probably the best item that I can recommend among all the 10 items that I'm giving you. To me, this is the one that I would suggest the most. I personally have it. It is on my nail desk now, and I think it's worth the $20 if you really need to get that application down and perfect. This is my top suggestion. So guys, this is the end of my suggestions, budget friendly for beginners. It's 10 items in total, which is your practice hand with those additional items of the nail files, buffers, nail tips, tips cutters, and replacement tips, your glue, your acrylic system, your Dappen Dish, your acrylic brush, which is once again crimped and 100% pure Kolinsky hair, your prep system, which is once again very important in order for the longevity of the application, a silicone mat to protect your workspace, and a multifunctional dust collector, armrest, UV LED lamp, desk lamp, and e-file for just $102. A cuticle oil for after all that dehydrating that you did to the cuticle area, you can rehydrate it with the cuticle. And most importantly, the American Nail Acrylic Training Mat, which I emphasize, please, if you don't purchase anything or decide to even go with this budget-friendly must-haves, at least use the link to view the video. I think it's very helpful. Maybe will help you with the decision to purchase it or not. But these are just my suggestions, in my opinion, for the best budget that you can make. I'm sure that there's other budget-friendly lists out there that you can view, and I'm sure there's items on my list that are on their list, items that are not on their list that may be on my list. This is just what I consider to be important for a beginner that I wish I knew when I started. And just my opinion in all of them. And guys, like I said, it's going to be using a budget of $300, and if we go to our total, we're at $274.22. When you do your checkout, I've always see that little warning where it says that part of your order qualifies for free shipping, but in actuality, Amazon tells you that it's free shipping if you're, I think, over $25, if I'm not mistaken. And I've made purchases before where they say is part qualifies for free shipping, and I end up getting it all for free shipping. So it's free shipping, is delivered directly to you, is a great tracking system when it comes to Amazon. You are able to get refunds with no issues with Amazon, at least in my experience. I haven't had any issues with refunds. So if it's something you're not satisfied with, you can always send it back. There are locations all over where you can look up to drop off the items that you don't have to repackage it. You just simply have to do the refund process through the Amazon app, and it gives you a little barcode that you can bring to the facility, and the facility will scan the barcode and know what to do with the item. Anyway, gearing back to the purpose of the video, it is under $300 is what I believe is a great investment on yourself, and I hope that you might consider looking at these. I don't make any commission off the links that I'm providing to you, so it's not something that I'm looking to benefit me. This is something that I just wanted to, do on my own and hope to be helping a beginner out there. Well, guys, that concludes my budget-friendly, beginner-friendly must-haves for us beginners, because I am including myself. I am at the beginning stages of attempting to make this a career choice. Haven't successfully found a school that's affordable enough for me on my budget to be able to attend and do it, but I'm still searching. And once I've found that school, I would definitely share that experience with you guys. In the meantime, this is also for myself. There's some items here that I found are worth investing in. I might purchase them myself as well. Some I have already purchased, so by experience I could tell you that they're worth it. And if, once again, I can reiterate that if you don't purchase any item on this list, to at least use the link for the American Nail Trainer silicone sheet to view that 15-minute video, because it is so worth it. I watched it and I can tell you it's definitely educational. You're going to pick up some tips and tricks. And if not, at least purchase the training mat. It will help you with your acrylic application and your liquid to powder ratio. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that it was educational. I hope it was informative, and I'm hoping that I am helping someone out there who's just at the beginning, as I am, in this part of becoming a nail tech as part of a career. And mostly I'm hoping that you do make the decision to subscribe, to click on that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload informative videos like this and other videos, and become part of the family. And as well as I hope to see you on my next video. Bye guys.